Hello and welcome.
Reverend Peter.
Peter, please. It's Kristina, isn't it? How can I be of help?
There are a few things I wanted to ask you.
Well, after a bereavement, people often want answers.
It's about Emily. I just wanted to better understand what happened.
Friends and family have all sorts of feelings after an event like this. Guilt is very common.
I can understand that. This was something else.
Yes? Maybe it has something to do with the story of Agnes.
Agnes?
It's a local legend. It dates back to the 18th century. She was a maid who worked in the Lord's estate. Her parents brought her over from Sweden when they came to work here. The story goes that she had an affair with the Lord. When she fell pregnant, he was horrified that she wanted to legitimize the relationship. It was all very different back then, of course.
And nobody helped her?
Not from the village, no. And the staff from the house, well, they turned their back on her because of the shame of it.
So what did she do?
Out of options and without any hope, she threw herself into the lake on the Lord's estate, drowned herself and the unborn child.
And that's where the ghost stories come from.
Thanks, Anne. Bye. Not exactly. It's said that she cursed the area with her death, and that her spirit returns to taunt young women into taking their own lives. It's all nonsense, of course.
But there are more suicides here than normal.
Some areas are more prone to this than others. The sad fact is, suicide hotspots occur more often than you'd think. And having a local legend like this only adds to the problem and plays into people's neuroses. Doesn't help that Alexander keeps talking about it. He's the Lord's descendant.
He lives here in the village?
Yes. The estate's had the same family and for hundreds of years. I wouldn't recommend talking to him about this. It's not the kind of thing you want to hear when you've just lost a friend in the way that you have. Can be a little bit grumpy too.
Hello, Alexander?
Yes, what do you want?
I believe I met a colleague of yours today, Dominique. She mentioned to me that you worked at the clinic. I was hoping I could ask you some questions.
Very well. Come in.
Thank you. This is my friend Emily. She passed away recently.
Yes. I was at the clinic when your friend was there, but purely in an advisory capacity. I couldn't comment on her treatment.
Why did the clinic close?
No. Series of patient disappearances. Suicides. Over the years, it led to its closure.
And anything else?
There was nothing wrong with the treatment there. It was the building that was cursed.
So you believe there's some truth in this curse?
Oh, yes. This house has been under dark clouds for hundreds of years. Ever since my ancestor foolishly impregnated that stupid maid.
Have you seen her?
Of course. She haunted this house for years, burning the life out of anybody who lived under its roof. Yeah, the good Reverend hasn't told you the full story, has he? My ancestor was an arrogant man. He was also stupid. A man in his position should never have gone near one of his domestic staff. I mean, a maid, for goodness sake. I suppose her being Swedish must have added an air of exoticism. Of course, the inevitable happened. Usually these things are handled discreetly, but for some reason she thought he would acknowledge her as the father of her child. A preposterous idea back then. She had to leave, of course.
How can you do this to me? How can you do this to me? I am your child. Okej! Jag går! Men jag hatar dig för att göra här med mig! Förbanna dig och ditt hus!
The other staff turned their backs on her. Nobody in the village would help. Quite alone, with no family to turn to, she was left with almost no choice. They say that a soul that dies in a state of rage leaves a curse. Well, Agnes cursed us all that day.
So people believe these deaths were because of her?
Records in this house were very carefully kept. Particularly so on an estate so heavily reliant on agriculture. The phases of the moon were noted. Agnes's death was remarked on at the time because of the blood moon that appeared in the sky on the night of her death.
A lunar eclipse?
Indeed. 2 years on, and Agnes was barely remembered, until the next blood moon appeared in the sky. night, a maid in the house swore she'd seen Agnes on the stairs, whispering to her. The days went on, and she became more and more hysterical, claiming she heard Agnes speaking to her wherever she went. The next morning, the estate steward found the maid hanging from a tree. After that, we grew to fear the appearance of a blood moon.
Even now?
Let me show you something. Out there used to be the outbuildings that the servants lived in.
What happened?
I had it burned to the ground. When one of the servants started complaining about a woman who'd be seen in the building at night, I'd finally had enough.
So you set it on fire?
Fire was the only way to drive her out. The vicar's predecessor was very helpful in this matter. He was a far more enlightened man.
Did she ever come back?
I had the grounds of the house lined with salt. She never returned.
But has she been seen in the village?
Oh, yes. By the lake where she died. I really don't recommend you go there. Look, I hope you find your answers. But if I were you, I'd leave this accursed place.
Excuse me, do you know where the old clinic is?
You mean the asylum?
Yeah, it used to be mental health.
Yeah, that's it. The old mental place. They turn it into houses now. Follow the road up, half a mile, and turn right.
Thanks.
Yeah, you watch yourself up there. Pretty girl like you. All sorts of weirdos hanging about that place.
Yeah, thank you.
The mental people go back there sometimes. Watch your step. Not that I'm prejudiced or anything.
Hello? Anybody here?
Oi! What's your game? You shouldn't be here. This is a closed site. What do you think you were doing, wandering about like that?
My friend was a patient here. I just wanted to see it for myself.
I don't think so. Well, this place has been closed more than 20 years.
No, she was here 2 years ago.
This place was closed up after the fire broke out on the ward. They moved all the mental stuff to some other place.
Hello again. I'm just on my way to visit someone. Is it urgent?
Just wanted to know if you recognize this person.
Yeah, I know who that is. Why'd you ask?
Please, I really need to know this.
Her name's Lucy. She disappeared 3 years ago.
Do you know why?
Apparently, she started saying that she was visited by a woman called Agnes, who started talking to her at night. First, I just thought it was hysteria, mental illness, manifesting itself in hallucinations.
And do you still believe that now?
I was called away on parish business for 2 days. When I returned, I was told that she walked out of the house in the night and disappeared. It's troubled me ever since.
Could you tell me where he lives?
If you must speak to him, be careful. He's quite delicate. He lives on his own now.
This is so awkward.
Hello, Matthew?
It is. What can I do for you?
We were wondering if we could talk to you about your daughter.
Oh. Well, I suppose you'd better come in then.
Our friend recently passed away, and we felt that it might have something to do with what happened to your daughter.
Oh, well, I'm sorry to hear about your friend, but I can't see what it would have to do with Lucy.
Our friend Emily had an interest in what happened to your daughter. She had a photo of her.
Why would she be interested in someone who ran away from home?
Well, we don't know, but we were hoping that you could maybe help us.
Well, I can certainly try.
Did she talk about anything strange before she ran away?
Look, I don't see why I need to talk about this.
If you haven't heard from her in this long, do you not think that something else might have happened?
No, she's somewhere. Look, I don't know where, and for whatever reason, she doesn't want to talk to me yet. But I'm sure she'll call soon enough. Look, in my heart, I know she's fine.
Have you never thought that maybe she's not coming back?
Wasn't that bloody vicar? She is coming back. She's fine.
I don't think that's what she meant.
Look, I want both of you out of my house now.
That could have gone better.
Go on, say it.
What, that sometimes it's better to let me do the talking?
Don't you think he was a bit of a creep? The way he was looking at us.
Yeah, you managed to get a lonely guy to chuck 2 women out of his house. Quite an achievement.
Shut up. Besides, I've got an idea.
Hi. Sorry, I thought I should come and apologise for my friend's behaviour. Do you mind if I come back in?
All right, come on then.
Yes, look, I'm sorry, I probably overreacted, but I have to say my wife has probably made things worse. She's constantly at me for support, financial, I mean.
That was how it... What was that noise? Did you not hear that? Look, I know you're up there. Well, you can get yourself down here and get out.
Can't believe we just did that. I hope you found something.
I think I did.
I thought we were never going to get out of there. Did you smell the drink on him?
I know. Poor guy.